The vertical line, it's in red. It's right below the Mercury finger. And the explanation's in between the Mercury and the Sun finger. That section in between the head and the heart line, you divide that section starting the headline there where the money line starts into about thirds. That first section is age 20, and then age 30, and then age 40, up to 45. And where that crosses over the heart line, that's age 45. And then 50, 60, 70 on up. So right there where that money line crosses the heart line, that's age 45. Okay, your explanation in between that Sun and the Mercury finger. One line, one income in your 20s. Then it's a different one. Different line in your 30s and 40s. And then you get two lines in your 50s. That's two, your 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's two incomes in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. Okay, underneath that Mercury finger, this is where your marriages, your relationships, and your children lines are going to show. Yours a little barren in there, and it doesn't show a whole lot. Going up to that ring around the Mercury finger, that section is divided into thirds. Towards the flirt lines, that's age 20, 30. The next section is 40, 50, and the last section is 60, 70, 80. And then underneath the, and I say your marriage lines go vertical, your marriage lines go horizontal across there, and then your children lines go vertical. And I know you said you had no children, no miscarriages, no abortions, no nothing. But you show one little tiny faint line in there. And I'm wondering if you didn't have like a little miscarriage or something that you didn't know about. It's just a little tiny bitty short line, but it's very distinct. That shows up. See where that little green asterisk is? Or it could be that maybe you bonded with a niece or a nephew or something. Okay, I only show one marriage line in there. I don't show any of the relationship lines at all, just one marriage line. And it's a good one too, and it's nice and long. Where it says guardian angels. These lines that come up from the bottom of that lifeline, these are your guardian angel lines. And in the left hand only, it's going to show who your guardian angel is. That's someone that has passed away that's bonded with you. And then if you've ever had a visit from a guardian angel, it's going to show in your right hand. So in your left hand only, this is the line that comes up from the bottom of the lifeline. And it'll touch on the lifeline at the age you were when someone died that you bonded with, like your grandparents, your parents, your siblings, your aunties, uncles, cousins, old boyfriends, old girlfriends. And that's the age you were when they died. And then it makes a little tiny bitty line that goes across that lifeline. So here's the age you were when someone you bonded to has passed away. At age 14, 19, 34, 40, and 44. Now, if you had a visit from a guardian angel, it's going to show on your right hand only, and the line will come up and it'll touch on the lifeline, but it doesn't make a line that goes across. It just touches at the lifeline. Sometimes, if you've had a visit from a guardian angel, if you've been really sick, or if you've had an accident, or if you've had an operation, or if you're in distress, or if you've had someone that you bonded to has died, very often their spirit leaves their body and it goes around and checks on all their loved ones before it goes off into the light, so it shows a visit from a guardian angel. So sometimes you'll have a double number in there. Now you got a couple or three in there. Okay, here's the age when you got a little visit from a guardian angel. At age 14, now see, that's when you had someone that passed that you were bonded with. 14, 18, 25, 36. 40 was a big one. You got a kind of a dark line in there at age 40. Well, that's when you had someone that passed away. Well, let me see. Did you say that you... No, you haven't said if you've lost parents or relatives or anything. And then age 44. That's one where someone passed away. Okay, that heart line starts usually right between the Jupiter and the Saturn fingers, and it comes down, makes a nice curve, goes out there where the flirt lines are. You got a nice curve in that heart line. That's good. Means you're very loving and caring at your emotions, and your emotions are in good shape. And then that heart line tells you about your heart health. It isn't too bad. You're getting some little tiny fussy things in there. Look up there in the upper left-hand corner of your chart where it says lines of energy, and run your finger down where it says islands. Oh, no. Where it says islands. When you see those islands in that line, it's a little break in the energy of the line. You got some little tiny itty-bitty islands, little circles underneath that heart line, not worth hardly anything. So you got fairly good heart health. You don't have very many big islands underneath that heart line. Okay, over there under your Jupiter finger, your sixth sense. You want to see a nice little fat pad underneath that Jupiter finger. Yours is good. Nice little pad in there. Here's how that works. It's actually your intuition. If you got a problem you got to solve, just clear your mind completely. Let it go blank for about 30 minutes, and when you come back to solve the problem, you'll probably have it already solved because your sixth sense or your intuition has kicked in and it's helped you solve the problem. So let's listen to those little promptings inside your head. They're kind of important. First thing you need to know is your left hand is your past, your right hand is your present and your future, and it doesn't matter what handed you are. Left is the past, right is the present, and the present and the future. And most of the work that we do is done on the right hand. Okay, now the length of your fingers is your talents. Everyone has talents. No one gets cheated. So long fingers mean one thing. Short fingers mean another thing. Nothing's good or bad. Look down in the right-hand corner of your chart where it says palm shapes. You've got kind of an athletic palm, kind of a rectangular palm. But that palm's quite long. Philosophical thinkers have a tendency to overanalyze everything. Go to the upper right-hand corner of your chart where it says personality, types of fingertips. That's your personality. Oh, yours are all round. Intuitive, quick, very compassionate. Generally, I see those in people in the health field, like the doctors and the nurses. All right, down to the thumb. Thumb's kind of long. It means you will do well in life. Good manual dexterity. Hold tools and instruments well. And that Jupiter finger, that index finger, is long too. Let me explain the names on these fingers. Palmistry is about 2,000 or 3,000 years old, and they had gone through and they named all of the fingers in different areas of the palm, usually with the names that were Greek gods or goddesses or astrological names. So they named that index finger the Jupiter, the middle one's the Saturn, the ring is the Sun. Sometimes that's called the Apollo finger, and then the little finger is called the Mercury finger. And that area in between the heart and the headline is the Mars area, clear across the palm. And right at the base of the thumb, that is where it says sexual libido. That's called the Mount of Venus. Venus, goddess of love. Oh, I can't sing that very good. I'm just coming off a cold. Because that's where your sexual libido shows. By the way, you're getting too many little wrinkles in that area. You're kind of dehydrated. You need to drink more water. You need 32 ounces a day. And you want to see that area right at the base of your thumb just nice and fat, all puffed up. It's so fat that you can't even hardly pick up the skin. And that will mean that you're well hydrated and you're drinking enough water. So that's one little problem that you got. Not easy to drink 32 ounces of water a day. Alright, where are we at on the fingers? Oh, we're on the Jupiter finger, aren't we? Index finger is called the Jupiter finger. That's excellent. It's a nice long finger. That's the boss finger. The manager, the leadership, supervisor finger. Teaching finger, sales finger. That's a very good finger. Let me see, what is it you do for a living? You're a broker, a manager, realtor. Okay, let's see. We're on to the Saturn finger. Saturn finger, the middle finger. It's a little bit short. If it's real long, you're just out to make lots of money. But it's kind of short. You're concerned with social issues. Again, very compassionate. Just like up in your fingers where it says intuitive, quick, and compassionate. Very caring about your fellow man. That sun finger is just absolutely average. That needs to come up to halfway on the top joint on that Saturn finger. And it gets up there. It's creative. So you got both qualities, creative, imaginative, inventive, and then practical, systematic, and organized. But got both qualities, the short and the long. Little fingers a little bit short, hands-on person, very active. Just sitting at a desk is not your favorite thing to do. Because when you got that real long finger, you're real scholarly. And you love to write. But if it's kind of short, you've got to be moving around when you work. Find your chart that says, no, I got to see what it says here. Understanding your cervical spine. And you look down at the bottom of that chart, it has a picture of a vertebrae. That vertebrae is a bony process in your spine. And off of each one of those vertebrae, two nerves come, a nerve off of each side from the spinal cord. The spinal cord runs up the middle. Now find your chart that says Chart of Effects of Spinal Misalignments. And see the spine there on the left-hand side? That's all your little vertebrae stacked up on your spine. And then the next column is the vertebrae. That's the name of the vertebrae. Your cervical, your thoracic, your lumbar, tailbone. And the next column is the areas. That's the areas that those little nerves go to that come off of each side of each one of those vertebrae. The head, the scalp, the eyes, the cheeks, the nose, the thyroid, the hands, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, etc. And then that last column is the effects that you get when that vertebrae is turned out of place and it's pinching those nerves. Headaches, depression, sinus trouble, anxiety attacks, heart problems, lung problems, etc., etc. You're out of place where those little islands show in that line. Underneath that Jupiter finger is your cervical vertebrae, 1C through 7C. Under the Saturn finger, that's your thoracic vertebrae, 1 through 12 thoracic. Under the Sun finger, that is your lumbar vertebrae, 1 through 5. And underneath that Mercury finger is your tailbone, sacrum neococcyx. And so wherever the little red marks are, that shows where you're out of place in that spine. So look underneath your Jupiter finger there. See where it's all marked red in the spine, on the spine chart? That's where you're kind of out of place. You got the interneck. Been bending over that darn computer all the time. What do you do? Oh, you're a broker, man. Of course you bend over that computer. Oh, I used to read poems in 1996, 97, 98. Nobody had neck problems in those days. But since the advent of the computer, almost everybody all around the world, I get hands from all over the world, they're out of place in that neck area, right at the base of the neck. I call it the interneck, because they lean over those darn computers all the time. It doesn't take but 2 or 3 hours leaning over that, and it stresses those vertebrae, and it kind of moves them out of place in your spine. Let me tell you a little therapy that you can do to pop those back in place. I had my old doctor showed me this. Sit up straight in a chair or stand up. Put your arms right straight out in front of you. Now lock your fingers together and turn your palms over backwards. Raise your arms above your head. That means your palms are going to face the ceiling and your arms are straight. Keep your elbows straight. Keep your fingers interlocked. Now push your arms behind your head. Back, 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 back. And you'll hear it go pop, 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 pop. It's popping those vertebrae back in place where they belong. And don't worry about little pops. My doctor says it's just the gases releasing when the vertebrae are moving back into place. I have a lot of people that work in the offices all the time, and they do this once maybe at lunchtime and once when they get off work, and they say their spines sure feel a lot better if they keep that top part of that spine straightened up. And if you leave that out of place too long, when you're out of place in that top part of that spine, it usually will throw you out in the lower spine the opposite way if it's out of place very long. So you want to keep the top part of that spine kind of straightened up. But I say you've got one of the better spines I've seen for a while, even though it looks kind of messy there. And most people, their spines are just, they got red marks all over that spine. So, and you've got a line underneath that headline. See, straight down underneath that mercury finger. Follow where that money line goes. That says help line internal organs. That's your colon, your spleen, your liver, usually the internal organs in the lower part of your body. And yours looks good. You should see one clean line. And you got a good solid line going on there. If you see 2 or 3 or 4, well, the last handwriting I just did had 5 lines in there. It was a mess. If you see extra lines in there, it means that that health line is stressed. And that's in the lower part of your body. But yours looks good. So you're doing something smart to keep your spine in alignment. Okay, our last line is the fate line. Go down to the lower right-hand corner of your chart. The fate line is your career and your lifestyle. It starts at the base of your palm, and it goes up to the Saturn finger only. If it goes anywhere else, it's not your fate line. There's 2 starts to that fate line. If it starts the outside of your hand, you're very sociable, and you've got to have your friends and family around you all the time. It starts right down the middle of your private person. You have to have private time. Yours is sociable. You've got to have little friends and family around you. Okay, the breaks, anytime that breaks, it's a change in the career. Sometimes you'll get a little fork off it, and it's a minor change. But the breaks are a fairly good change in the career of the lifestyle. At age, starting down at the bottom of the palm now, going up to that Saturn finger, age 23, a good break at 25, another break at 28, and then 28 to 35, there's 2 lines. That's 2 jobs running parallel to each other. Let's see, 28 to 35. And then that where that line crosses over the headline, that's age 40. So at age 39 to 52, 2 lines, 2 jobs, again running parallel to each other. They're 2 good, strong lines, too. And that goes up to where that crosses over the heart line, that's age 50. Then age 58, then I just get 1 line in there. And then age 58 to 63, 2 lines, 2 jobs again. And then just 1 line on up into the finger at age 86. Where it crosses over that ring around the Saturn finger. That's age 80. So you're going to live till you're 86 years old.